Welcome to Vermonters in Business, where we highlight some of the very best business leaders in our state and the amazing things they're doing in their communities. People of Vermont, welcome to Vermonters in Business, where our mission is to highlight the businesses and business leaders in our state that are doing amazing work in both their communities and in their careers. I am your co-host, Drew Kinney. I am a seventh-generation Vermonter, a business owner in the state, and I am super excited about today's show. But first, please join me in welcoming my co-host, Travis Spencer. He is a serial entrepreneur, a local business enthusiast, and around here we know him as a world-class insurance agent. Travis, how are we doing today? What do you got for me?
Doing great. Got a great hot take. We're on the HGTV theme. I had one of those earlier. But I always love watching these remodel shows or these contractor shows. You know, we have a safety person in here today who's going to talk workplace safety.
Yep.
But I always wonder who the heck is writing the workers' comp for some of these shows that I watch. Because you see things that are going on and you're like, I do not want to be their insurance agent.
Yep.
I hope their insurance agent isn't watching.
Yep.
So that's
some underwriter somewhere is, and they're going to get in trouble.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So when you're watching some of these remodel shows, I'm always like, man, I hope their underwriter or their carrier's not watching.
That insurance hot tip, that goes for all social media. If you own a business, their underwriters are going to look and search for everything you put out there.
Well, that's what we always tell people, right?
Yeah.
If you don't do it, don't put it on social media. Don't have it on your website.
I'll never forget, we had somebody that got canceled, and it was because, or non-renewed, as we call in the business, but that was because they posted a video of them hitting a driver off of a roof that they were changing.
Right.
And some underwriter saw it, flagged it for non-renewal, and we had to.
Well, I had a client who used a canned website off the shelf.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
And they were a contractor. They don't do roofing, but there was pictures of people on a roof, but it wasn't them. And so again, the underwriter, same thing. So.
Yeah, you always want to keep that website to what you actually do. But anyways, Travis, we've got a great show today. Please join me in welcoming Katie Frederick of Applied Solutions Consulting, ASC. Katie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
You've done many a podcast, you've already assured us.
Yes. This will be the, thousands in my catalog for sure.
Yeah. So, Katie, you're originally from Rhode Island. What led you all the way to Vermont?
A boy.
Oh,
it was a boy.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the Vermonter, and then I moved here, and I fell in love with Vermont. So
Did
that's
you
why I stayed.
Meet him here or meet him in Rhode Island?
Actually, I met him in Connecticut.
Connecticut?
We were both working for a hazardous waste disposal company, which is very glamorous.
Yeah.
So he was into me.
I have some more questions now.
He was
Change
into
them
me.
up.
He was a tie back. I'm wearing a tie back, and this guy
He was in a
into
hazmat suit.
and that's how our love story began, over hazardous waste. So,
hey, if you can make it through that, you can make it through anything, right?
True story.
Yeah. And so now you guys have landed in Westford.
Correct.
And how long have you been in Westford?
About 7 years now.
7 years, all right. Westford's a good spot.
Yeah, we love it.
Yep.
We really do.
Yes. But all right. So the first thing we do with every guest is we jump into something we call the Vermonter Hot Seat Questions. And the goal of this is just to give all of our listeners and all of our viewers a chance to get a feel for who you are as a Vermonter. So, Katie, are you ready for the Vermonter Hot Seat?
As ready as I'm going to be.
All right. Pancakes or waffles? What are you having with your Vermont maple syrup?
Waffles all day.
All right. I like it. Perfect day for you. Is it a winter day at the mountain or a summer day at the lake?
Summer day at the lake.
Okay, not a skier.
No,
all right.
Skiing and I are not friends.
I feel like it's pretty hit or miss there.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and the ones that ski like almost go winter, it is interesting.
It's hard pass.
Yep. So are you like a person that's like can't wait for summertime, or do you like the winter for a little bit?
I do like the winter for a little bit.
Yeah.
It did. Westford is gorgeous with the
That's
snow
true.
and everything. And then I have an excuse not to go anywhere because
Yeah.
there's so much snow. So I really like that option.
That's true. All right. It is your birthday dinner. You can go anywhere in the state. Where are you headed?
Oh, man. Pascola. It's
Okay.
that Italian restaurant.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's on Church Street.
They moved into Sweetwater's area.
Correct.
Yeah.
They have the best Italian.
Yep,
I'm
they
Italian, so
do have
I'm looking
good
for the
food.
best Italian.
Yeah. I haven't been to the new spot yet, but it's on the
fantastic.
list. Their old spot was like in this old school reference in like the Three Tomatoes area. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is an old school reference.
Yeah. All right. Hot summer day. What is your creamy order? And from where?
I'm going to get a chocolate and vanilla swirl, and I'm going to go to, there's a place in Cambridge that I don't remember the name of, but they have a fantastic creamy selection. Actually, there's two.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure what the name of it is. But
All right.
Cambridge.
We'll figure that out.
That twist is making a
Yeah,
comeback.
there's like 3 or 4, I think, in a row. Yeah. And usually everyone goes Maple.
No.
And so it's been interesting to see the swing back to the classics. But all right, well, that's the hot seat, so it wasn't too difficult, hopefully.
No.
All right.
All right, next up, Travis is going to dive into some of the cool things, and we'll ask you about ASC and the work you guys do.
Yeah, so let's just kick it off. Who is ASC and what do you guys do?
Well, ASC is a full-service safety and health consulting, training, and all things workplace safety company.
Nice.
I do site visits, I do training, I do written plans. So it's basically anything an employer could need in the realm of workplace safety. I'm your girl.
And how did it all start? After your hazmat experience?
Yeah,
You were like,
So after hazmat, I went to work in solid waste for 10 years.
Okay.
So hazardous waste, solid waste. So we're seeing a trend here.
We
Just
are.
keep throwing stuff out. And my husband still works in hazardous waste, so that's job security right there. So I was on the safety committee at my previous job at the solid waste district, CSWD. Great organization, but I really got into the safety aspect of it. So they sent me for some OSHA training, and I was totally into it. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to take my show, and I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's coming with me?
Yep.
No one. So that's why I'm a sole proprietor. I went off and I did my own thing. So that's how I started.
So that's how it started. All right. Well, I was going to throw some stereotype in there about waste management and Italian people. So, but
We can't talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
you're
might
talking
be in the
about.
trash if we talk too much about it.
Or the trunk of my Lincoln Town car, whatever.
So what type of services do you offer at ASC?
Well, I do OSHA training, which is the 10 and 30-hour classes, which are for either construction or general industry. General industry is production, warehouse, manufacturing. Construction is demolition, basic construction, renovation, remodeling. So there's 2 different industries that I work with, but I do these 10-hour and 30-hour classes for entry level, and then the 30-hour classes are more for supervisors.
Sure.
And I love to do site visits where I go and I kind of help employers get their health and safety, site work that is all, compliant with OSHA regs, and basically establish a safety culture with those companies. So that's one of my favorite things to do too.
What are some of the biggest safety issues you see with folks?
Okay, well.
We have all the time in the world.
So, general industry, I see people blocking electrical panels. That's a big no-no. You need 36 inches in front of electrical panels. Emergency exits. There needs to be an emergency exit sign visible in anywhere throughout the facility. So I'll often identify, I don't know how to get out of here. So let's probably put an exit sign there. Construction, a lot of it is cords. You can't have any damaged flexible cords, extension cords. Those have to go. And I see that a lot on construction sites. Same thing with power tools. Power tool cords need to be completely intact. So that's one of the big ones in construction. And then ladder safety.
Yeah.
Setting ladders up the right way. And you were talking about people that work on the roof.
Yes.
Who, all these people that are on display on roofs and scaffold, a lot of them don't have fall protection in place. So I run into that often where I'll have to help people set up their fall protection plan.
Sure. Okay. And that probably sounds like a stupid question, but is safety really just a mindset? Like if you're a business owner and it's not something you ever think about, it probably becomes a bigger issue.
It's definitely difficult sometimes for employers who are just like, well, we work safe all the time, so I don't really need this. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic, and I love that, that approach to safety. But a lot of it is writing things down and making sure that it's, disseminated to all employees. So you have the business owner, but you definitely need to get buy-in. They're the one that write the checks. If you need personal protective equipment or something like that, you need management to buy in. So employees can get the PPE or whatever safety controls that they need.
Got it.
Yeah.
And in regards to sizes of companies that you work with, I mean, do you small, large, all the way through?
I work with small companies. I work with small contractors. I work with very large companies. I just did 2 classes at Norwich University, which I had 35 students in one of those classes, which was a pretty big group for me. So that was exciting. But yeah, across the spectrum.
Okay. And do you see any differences in the mentality? Like, I think some people just assume, it's a larger company, they probably have their act together. And I mean, but I'm thinking they're probably some of the worst potentially.
Yes. So that is definitely a difficult company to break into, especially if they have an established, not so much compliance, foresight. They kind of just maybe are not implementing the stuff that is really mandatory because no one's gotten hurt or had an injury. So they feel that there's nothing needs to change, which unfortunately, like today's your day, you never know.
Never know.
Yeah. So how do you find that people are finding you? Is it something like, or I guess what's the origin of that? Is it somebody has told them that they need to take this class, or is it that somebody has like proactively thinking and they're like, we should reach out and like get this in line?
Yeah.
Or what do you find most common?
So now I'm getting a lot of inquiries from clients who are bidding on larger jobs.
Yeah.
Larger jobs are asking their subcontractors to produce their safety training records, their safety data sheets, getting their OSHA logs to those clients. So I've been getting a lot of inquiries. Can you help me set up this? They are asking for this portion of my safety plan. I really need to get it together. So that's honestly one of the bigger things that have been coming through recently for me.
Good proactive approach, at least. Yeah.
That's a good mindset to have. Proactive safety is so much cheaper than
even if there's a bid involved.
Safety.
It's at least it's a proactive, right?
Workers' comp people, right? Oh my goodness.
And is it better for someone? Anytime obviously is the best, a good time to start. But when someone's looking to bring in employees for the first time, I mean, should they start thinking about this before that? When's a good time for a business owner to say, hey, I really need to get my act together with safety?
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to send anybody on site or onto a job site that doesn't have any training yet. Unfortunately, that does happen. I always recommend going through kind of a new hire training, go over the basics for what they need for particular projects and whatnot. But sometimes I'll get them after the fact, which is fine too, just as long as the employer is conscious that, okay, maybe we should implement some safety controls here.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And what are some of the challenges for safety when it comes to business owners? Is it just lack of knowledge? Is it expense? Like, what are you seeing why people aren't necessarily taking the necessary steps?
Well, the biggest one is we've never had an injury.
Right.
To which I say, I doubt that's true.
Right.
Because I've never had a reported injury, which is more the case, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's a mindset, I call them my seasoned employees who have been in the industry for a very long time. And sometimes they're, adverse to implementing stuff that's regulatory. They think maybe, it's too much, for them to implement. So they kind of put their head in the sand. And unfortunately, it'll take a big workers' comp claim or some kind of injury to kind of snap them back into, okay, maybe we really need to focus on this. But again, I like to break them down a little bit and then make them see that safety is definitely a big part of their company.
Right.
And it's a holistic approach too. If people feel cared for, they feel like their employer is giving them the protection that they need, they'll stay.
Right.
And there's less turnover too. So that's kind of how I phrase these, conversations.
Well, you have on your website some examples of costs due to injuries. And I think that's something that most people don't even think about. I know like in the insurance world, not every business owner, but a lot of business owners are always like, to your point, it's not going to happen to us. We're not going to get in trouble until something does happen. But, when you're sitting down with those business owners, do you kind of go over some of those? Like, hey, if this happens, this is 10, 20, 30 grand. Are you ready to? So
the workers' comp dollars, I don't usually bring in. I talk about what the violation penalties are. Yeah. So that is the big, if you have someone that's not wearing safety glasses, if you have 3 people that aren't wearing safety glasses, that's a $10,000 fine.
Jeez,
and they can say it's $10,000 for each employee that's not wearing safety glasses, which is like really crazy. So even at that basic level of just put your safety glasses on, and I talk about, how much these violations, and it goes up to $161,000 this year.
Right.
All those maximum fines increased annually, which is crazy.
And when you start breaking those numbers down, I think people start to understand.
Oh, okay. And I'm like, look, you can pay me, a fraction of what you might incur if you let these violations continue. So.
Right.
And do you have folks that you're continuously working with, or are most of your clients like you go out, you do the training, or maybe get a manual together and you never see them again?
Nope.
How's it? Okay.
They're my people. I am their safety person. So I have a lot of repeat clients. I work with Vermont Adult Learning, which has different sessions that'll go and do their training. Same thing with Resource. They have a lot of programs going on. So I'm doing training for those companies as well. Any people that, have health and safety plans, implementation is consulting is always part of that package. So we write the safety plan together, and then I'll go through it and make sure they know that, okay, it's in this written plan now, so you actually have to implement it. So that's something that I offer, and a lot of people taking up on that.
So basically, if a company's not large enough to hire their own safety manager, that's where you come in. And
correct. I do that often too for smaller companies that don't want a full-time employee or can't really afford it. I'll go in once a month. I'll go in, once every 2 months. And I'll do an inspection, we'll do a training. So, that sort of thing is kind of, my main.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you see employees, you mentioned a healthy work environment, you're going to have better employees, they're going to want to stay there. Do you see the mentality of employees also like, hey, when you do a training, like they get it, they want to be part of it?
Right. It's true. I mean, I really get kids. I have a lot of younger people in my classes. So like they're 20 and I call them kids. Yeah. But I have a lot of, students in my classes that super enjoy the engagement and the interactive part of the training that I do, and I know that they're getting it. I give them quizzes, and they're very excited that they get these quiz questions right. I actually have them compete against each other. And I give each person in the winning team who's got the most quiz points correct, I give them an Amazon gift card. So I basically am like, I'm bribing you to learn things. Yeah. And they're kind of all about that.
It works.
So it totally works.
And what's your geographical area that you cover?
I'm all of Vermont.
Okay.
So send me anywhere. Yep. I'm going to White River Junction in a couple of weeks. Right. I'm going to Burke next week. Okay. So I'm all over the place. I can go to New Hampshire. I have a couple clients that I work with in upstate New York. Okay. So have safety, we'll travel.
Nice. Yeah. So walk us through if somebody decides that, all right, I need to bring Katie in, we need to build a plan or do something, they'll reach out. Walk us through the process, how that sort of plays out.
Right. So the first step is I go in for a meeting and a site visit. Yeah. So we'll walk around, I'll identify the kind of the low-hanging fruit. Yeah. And then I'll identify some of those compliance gaps, and I'll walk around and I'll talk to people and, employees at all levels of the organization, because you have the managers, but then you have the people that are working that are actually doing the thing. So I'll talk to the workers safely. No, I'm not going to jump in on production line and, kind of distract everybody. And then I'll go and I'll write a report. Here's what you need to do to implement. Here's what, some of the things that you could be doing that would help strengthen your safety culture. So, and then after that, report is written, I'll go back and do a follow-up inspection and, give them attaboys. They love that. Right. I'm like, you guys are doing fantastic. And they're like, oh, great. So they really respond to, the stuff that I will bring up that they're doing a great job with. Like, I'm really excited that everybody's now wearing high vis around all these, pieces of equipment when that wasn't the case first. At first. So
nice.
And so when we talk to a lot of different consultants in different segments of the industries, one of the things that always comes up is the general public doesn't know all the changes that are going on. Because when you're running a business or you're an individual running your household, you're not up to date on everything, and that's where you come in. So do you do a lot of with your clients, hey, just so you know, the state changed this year?
Absolutely. There's always new regulations that are coming out from OSHA, state regulations. We kind of mirror federal OSHA regulations here in Vermont. So I will often let people know I can revise your health and safety plan. I just want to let you know that there's a new update to the HAZCOM standard, hazard communication. That just came out and went into effect in July. There's also a new heat regulation that's in the works that is coming out. The employers are going to have to implement certain administrative controls to keep people safe from heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Yep. So I will always reach out and say, hey, just so you know, I can help you, incorporate that into your safety plan and make sure everything's in compliance for you.
And forward-looking for you and your business, what are your growth plans? What do you want the next 5 years to look like?
Well, I want to get rich and retire. That's always my 5-year plan.
Do you ever think of hiring people or growing stuff?
I teach OSHA safety traiing, and the employees, I always call them my little minions of liability. So I know better than other employees. But I'm always looking for those repeat clients. I'm always looking for companies to want me to come in and help work with their, administrative staff, but also the, people that are actually on the ground, boots on the ground workers too. So that's always, my main goal is to have a full training schedule with parts in there that I can, you can do some consulting work for a lot of other clients too.
So that'd be your ideal situation, is have a book of clients who are repeat clients, which would then probably allow you more flexibility to turn away some one-off stuff.
I can't say no to anybody. Okay. I really can't. That's why I'm on 3 boards of directors. I just can't. I can't say no to anybody. anybody, I'm like, yes, I'll do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help.
That passionate about safety
Yeah,
that you will not
I
let somebody go on their own.
No, I will help you. I will make time.
I love it.
I love it so much. I'm like the biggest safety nerd you've probably ever met in your
That's
life.
great.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's good. I mean, I know I drive my wife crazy. I'll drive by houses and I'll be like, who insures that house? You know, it's like, but you do.
Same
when
thing, yeah.
When you're engulfed in it day to day, it just becomes a mindset for you.
It really does. And I
Yeah.
look for stuff everywhere. You know, my friends will actually send me pictures of people that are on their roof doing work. Be like, Katie, check this out. And I'm like, they know me enough to send me stuff like that. So I may talk about my job.
I'm sure the workplace safety memes are as entertaining as the insurance
memes. Oh my
memes.
goodness. I get like the TikTok, like, OSHA, is this okay? And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
So the OSHA fails, I will play some videos of my training, and people are like, oh my God. I'm like, don't be this.
Yeah, exactly. It is crazy.
All of this is bad. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been great so far, but I feel like we would be in the wrong if we didn't touch on your roller derby days.
That's right.
You got to give us a rundown of Ramona Rampage.
That's me. That's me. I'm retired. Okay. Ramona Rampage is, I love to roller skate still. I just am not going to allow other people to hit me and fall down while I'm on roller skates.
Yeah.
But, I had my daughter and I was like, I want to get into some, activity where I can lose weight. And I found roller derby and I was like, this is my jam. Like,
That's
I'm
awesome.
into this. So, yeah, ripped fishnet stockings, black makeup.
And so that was here in Vermont.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Green Mountain Derby Dames was the name originally. Now it's like
I remember that.
the expo. Oh man, it was a big deal. So we had a cult following. It was so cool. So.
Well, I remember as a kid, and I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure when it stopped, but I remember growing up that roller derby was on TV, like on the weekends.
Yeah, there was like a show on TNT or something like that.
Yeah, it had roller, and I was just like, this is great.
Yeah, it's on ESPN, like the Ocho. You know what I'm saying?
But no, it's definitely a part of my youth. I remember the roller derby.
It's so fun. We traveled. We went to Canada one time. And it's a great camaraderie. For
Rollerball is
awesome.
an obscure movie poll. I don't know if you.
Yes, Rollerball.
Rollerball.
Who was in that movie?
That was with James Caan.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I haven't seen that one.
You should go back.
That's
It's a deep dive.
Deep dive.
dive.
It's like late 70s, early 80s.
Good stuff.
Sci-fi rollerball. Yeah, you gotta watch it.
All right, Katie. Well, where can people find you and learn more about ASC?
Okay, well, they can contact me. Call me 802-881-3439. If I don't pick up, it's because I'm teaching a class, but I will get right back to you. Same thing with email, Katie, Katie, at ascllcvt.com, or you can look me up online, ascllcvt.com, and check out some of my services there.
All right, very good.
Fantastic.
Well, this has been another episode of Vermonters in Business. As always, if you know somebody out there that should be on our show, please send them our way. We'd love to host them. Katie, thank you so much.
Guys,
Thank you very
thank you so much.
Great
This
job.
is actually a lot of
You
fun.
did a great job. Yeah.
Not a problem.